to Artist Talks, interview series with artists who has a deep roots in dance and movement-based art forms. My name is Anton Waldbauer and I'm a founder of Deep Dive Dance. In today's episode, we will meet with critically acclaimed choreographer, innovative artist, successful director, curator, and a life coach, Marguerite Donlon. During her extensive career, Marguerite has created numerous works on many ballet companies around the world. She holds many awards, prizes, and even medals for her outstanding artistic achievements. Before we begin, consider hitting a like button, or if you find our interview interesting and inspiring, subscribe to our channel and help our small community grow. Let's begin.
Hello, hi Anton. What a lovely introduction. That's so kind of you.
No, but it is so easy to introduce you because you have done so many things. It's overwhelming. I didn't know what to mention, and it's lovely to have you.
Well, it's really a pleasure. It's a chance to get to hear and to know other people. And I've our paths crossed very briefly, right?
Yes.
A few years back. We only had 2 days, but I spotted you as a very, very talented guy. And then you really did make your way in your career, which was very exciting. So now we're at another point, both of us. And I get very excited about reconnecting with people. So it's a real pleasure for me to be here. Thank you.
My first question to you is, what is your earliest memory related to dance?
Oh, gosh, it's one of those really boring things where I honestly could say, and I think my whole family would agree, that I was sort of dancing before I could walk.
Yeah.
But my first early memory of dance is actually my mother dancing around the house with like bananas on her head. She was very extravagant, I have to say, and she would sing and I remember Sundays we would watch these lovely, musicals on television, like Hello, Dolly, or and I really thought that my mum was going to be in one of these films at some point. And one day I actually said to her, "Mum, when are you finally going to be on television with your bananas and your dance?" And that was the first kind of realization of reality is sometimes not so exciting as your imagination. So she had to tell me that she wasn't going to be on television. But yeah, this whole kind of dance was in the family in that kind of, eccentric way. And apart from that, there was Irish dancing.
At what point and how it happened that dance became serious in your life?
I was obsessed with dance from really a young age. And like I said, we all did Irish dancing. From a very young age, I was questioning, why do we have to keep our arms so tight against our bodies, And the legs were going, and that was great. But the arms, I was like, surely we can do something with our arms. So I actually started choreographing pretty young. I didn't know it was called choreography, but I started creating dance with the Irish footwork and using the arms. And what helped me on my journey was the good old encyclopedias. We didn't have internet then, but we had encyclopedia books, and under the D for dance, it was worn out because there was a whole dance section about like ballet and all the positions and contemporary dance. So that was basically my first training. Finally, when I was 14, a South African lady married an Irish farmer and started teaching dance. So then I started learning properly and not just pretending and making it up. Yeah.
Then, of course, you were for many, many years a successful dancer. And one of the companies that you spent a lot of time with dancing is Deutsche Oper Berlin. And I wanted to ask you, what are your strongest memories about that time?
It was a really interesting time. I learned so much. I learned so much, not only as a dancer, but also like how it is to run a company or how it is not to run a company. Because I had many directors in the time I was there.
Yeah.
Berlin's a tough place, as we see still. I suppose the things that stood out are the choreographers I worked with, from people like, Yuri Killian, of course. Yuri really, I just kind of was like clink, but also people like Meg Stewart, Stephen Petronia, Michael Clark, Forsyth. We did all the classics, but those other more contemporary dance really intrigued me, and that's when I started to realize it's something you can actually do. You can actually create dance and shape it, and so that for me was so super exciting to work with so many brilliant people. I love the idea of contemporary dance because there are no boundaries, there are no limitations, and in ballet, it's I don't want to run my ballet down because it's a great base, it's a great training method actually. But there are rules. I suppose I don't like too many rules. So the combination of classical and just being able to then be really creative in a contemporary way is great for me. So there are no rules, and everything is possible. It's like that whole idea of starting with a blank canvas. It's fantastic, but it's also scary because there is nothing.
Yes. Where does your interest in choreography came?
I think the interest in choreography came way back.
Yeah.
I just didn't know there was a name for it. I loved making and creating and putting things together. I mean, I even had a little dance group who none of them had learned dancing, and I made it about a dance with these 6 girls. In fact, it was, I mean, I did always, I tended to do things the wrong way around, but when I came to English National Ballet, the first ballets we did were like Symphony in C from Balanchine and Bayadere, all those arabesques. And I was like, yeah, that's very nice. But then Christopher Bruce was the house choreographer of the company at that time. And I was allowed to be in his rehearsals, and then he put me into a piece. And then I realized, oh my God, that's a choreographer. He's actually making work. This job exists. It's a thing you do. So of course I was really excited about that. I mean, that whole beginning of my career as a dancer in London was kind of crazy because I just really been studying dance seriously for something 1890, like 4 years.
Now that you have created so many works, is there one work that is somehow really dear to you?
It's a really tricky question because, a few pieces have a dear connection to me because of what was happening at the time. Or, for example, when I created Romeo and Juliet, I had just found out I was pregnant. So I was like, oh, so you kind of remember that piece, and you're in such a state of happiness and excitement and fear as well. So there was that, and then like Heroes, for example, the piece with my 5 men and the music from David Bowie, that's very dear to me as well, because that's one of those journeys which it started out, it was only meant to be a solo. It was only meant to be 5 minutes. And it turned out to be 45 minutes with 5 men, very personal. So you see, I love when you just start something like a little fire and it just takes off and you're just gently guiding it. And when you really see all the energy of all the people who've been in that piece with you, like so in there and so unique and authentic, then you can't sort of stand back and say, look what I did. It's definitely look what we did. And we didn't really mean to do it. It's not often that I look back on my pieces or watch them. And I had to watch a few pieces recently because of some online gala. And I was kind of like looking a bit like this at first, because I'm very critical. But I can also go, wow, that was really nice. Actually, that was okay, not too bad at all. Because I don't own it. As a choreographer, as soon as you finish the piece, like you don't own it anymore. It's not yours. It's theirs, and then the energy between the performers and the audience is what brings it to another place. So it's actually really interesting to see how things develop.
In a variety of your works, you also explored and created some works where you reimagined, reinterpreted some big classical famous ballets. Why was this interesting?
I love this question because, you know, when I started creating, I was like, yeah, I'm a contemporary choreographer. And I was living in Berlin at the time, and I was kind of like escaping from the arms of the Deutsche Opera, which is, regarded as very kind of classical institute. And I was hanging out in the free scene. That's where I met Dieter Heikamp, my dear, dear friend. And, he introduced me to a whole other scene. So I was like really enjoying both of these very different worlds. And I realized, I'm myself and Dieter are probably the only ones who are visiting both sides without too much judgment, like sort of appreciating what each has. I thought, okay, I'm a contemporary choreographer, and we don't tell stories. Like we don't do that. And then I started to go, well, hang on a second. Who said that? Who came up with this credo? And why shouldn't I tell stories? Actually, I love telling stories, and I'm Irish, and we love telling stories. So then I started to become less shy of the idea of saying, you know what, I'm still a contemporary choreographer, and I'm going to tell a story. Yeah. Matt's X can do it. So, so this was, I know I had to kind of, because I know when I did my first piece, which was Carmen, a couple of my colleagues were like, oh, you're telling story ballets now. Wow. So what I decided, though, to do, and I thought what might be kind of interesting and important, was to any of the story ballets I did, I chose ones that had female main characters, female protagonists, like Carmen or Giselle. So I chose them for a reason. And I thought, well, I'm going to tell them now from a female point of view, very much from the side of a woman. And I wanted to imagine what the other side of this woman could be. So what Carmen was like really in private, and why Carmen was the way she was. It became a bit of a psychodrama. Giselle as well. I was like, do I really want her to kill herself because of some guy who like, I want to empower this woman if I can, and give her a new sense of, like, so yes, I became more interested in the story ballets because of from a woman's point of view.
Where does the inspiration come from?
Oh, no, that's a great question. The inspiration comes from life. It comes from everything that just flashes by my eyes. It comes from the past. It comes from things that upset me, like, plastic in our oceans, and, how we're destroying our planet. It comes from anything that just really makes me burn with either desire or passion in some way, and that I want to transform that into my language, and bring it on stage. So yeah, and it doesn't always have to be a serious matter, but I just, in that moment, I have to believe in it. It can also be a piece of music that I just feel, wow, I really want to work with this music finally.
And do you have like blueprint how the new work starts, or every time it's its own story?
Every time it's different. What I should mention, like, with just back to the inspiration, many different things inspire me, but what always inspires me in a process are the dancers. you know, and having that chance to get really into them. It's such a privilege. It's such a privilege. Yeah, but no, I don't have a blueprint at print, and I purposely don't have a blueprint because I'm constantly trying to break habits. And we get into habits. We're just creatures of habits, right? So I desperately don't follow, you know, a winning way. I get bored very quickly as well. I get really bored. So I've devised methods to create movement, which surprises me as well. And then you can always twig it this way or that way. But I think every journey should start with a new, I don't know, new pair of clothes or new shoes. I don't just new eyes.
And now that you have mentioned dancers and working with them, as a company director, what kind of dancers do you want to work with?
I'm very happy when I have the opportunity to work with dancers who are, I mean, there's so many talented dancers, right? So many people can dance and move. It's incredible. It's scary. But people who are really curious, dancers who are also curious about their colleagues and still have a security within themselves of being able to say like, okay, this is what I can do, but wow, that's amazing what you can do. So, you know, like really celebrating and sharing the others' gifts and talents and actually exchanging them. I love dancers who really, you know, have a good balance between intellectualizing an idea and physically, you know, so it doesn't always have to be first from the brain and then the body, but somebody who's willing to kind of juggle between just like going instinctively or going, but maybe think about that, you know, so playing with mind and body. And of course, I think, you know, it's great when they're very musical and they just can play with that music and not become a slave to music or rhythm, but really play with it. Yeah, and, you know, ambitious. I think being ambitious is a great thing. People who want to grow and be their best self. This always excites me. And still just being, you know, humanly kind because it's, you know, the struggle is hard. So I think it's always good to kind of keep in mind, like, yeah, well, let's thread carefully on each other. Yeah, so I suppose there are some things I like in a dancer.
What advice would you give to young aspiring artists today?
I mean, I would just say, be smart, because yes, follow your dream. Yes, absolutely. But you can follow your dream and be smart at the same time. And that means maybe like informing yourself, educating yourself as much as possible, being interested in the political things, informing yourself, but always coming back to what you believe in, because you can get lost in political fights. And that's very hard. I had to really learn that as a director. Like you're a director and you're the creator, and it's two very different things. So learning to divide, like having two hats, you know, the politician, the director, the sort of the left brain, and the artist. Just switch off, and also like get yourself a coach. I would say, not me, but I mean, this was the best thing I ever did when I first became a director. I got a coach and I said, I want to do this, but I've never been a leader before. So, you know, I need help. And that was the best thing I ever did. It was tough, but I learned a lot. And then when I left Saarbrücken, I actually then, I did accreditation to become a coach, a leadership coach. And it's just wonderful. I think everyone who is dealing with people in any way should get coached. It makes it a lot more fun, and you learn to be more generous.
For you personally, what is the most rewarding and the hardest thing about being a creator, about being choreographer, about being artist?
I suppose, I mean, honestly, when I create, when I'm in a creative process, like in the studio, it's like having the chance to escape from the world. It's like for me what it used to be like when I was a dancer on stage.
Yeah.
Like there's no time, there's no hunger until you stop. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. But you know, in that when you're on a roll, as they say, like when you're flowing,
Yeah.
it's like the best place. And you're exchanging with another human being, and you're seeing something slowly developing, and it's kind of exciting and scary, and yeah, it's a trip. The hardest, I suppose, it's to keep everybody artistically fed and happy. From the very beginning, when I became a director, I was 34. I was like, oh my God, how do I keep everybody happy? You know, it's like, my God. I mean, there was really, you know, how do you keep them fed and everybody? And you can't. There's moments you can, you know, there's time for everybody, but it is a constant thing. Like, is everybody involved? Who hasn't done anything? You know, so I'm constantly trying to make sure that, you know, it's such a short career. So like, I think as a creator working with those people or their director, yeah, I think it is my responsibility to make sure that in that time they can get as much as possible, and that they're able to use their talents as much as possible. So that is a constant concern of mine. Like, is it enough? I never really worry about what the audience are going to say. I don't. I think about the audience in a creative process. I think about them in the sense that I want to know how they are feeling. Like, I make an energy timeline or an energy line.
Yeah.
Of how the audience might feel. So I care about them. And if I say something, I want to say it and be understood. But I don't kind of at the last minute worry and say, oh God, I hope they like it.
Yeah.
That I thank God I don't, because that would be the wrong pressure.
Yeah.
Or what are the critics going to say? I don't think about that. I think about, like, you know, have we felt like this has been a really good journey?
My very last question that I have for you, and it's why dance is important.
It's a great question. I mean, it's a huge question. It's a big open question, isn't it? I think dance is really important because it's a universal language. It's a language that transcends any, you know, language. And the other thing that I think is just so we as dancers and dance people, I think sometimes we forget the power of touch, of bodies moving. I think it's just it's healing. And I don't mean to, I'm not, you know, sort of I am a bit Buddhistic, but no, but it's such a incredible thing to see, and I think it's an art form that can really directly communicate and touch an audience. And sometimes you know, people go, oh God, well, why did I feel that way? You know, they try to make sense out of it, and I'm like, but it's a bit like when you hear music. Sometimes music gives you goose pimples, and you can't say, oh yeah, because it was a major going to minor. You don't analyze it, so don't try to analyze dance. Just let it hit you. And when an audience can do that, it's incredible for them to experience what happens. I think dance is just, it can say and speak so much. And you know, it's our first language. It's the first language we have when we're born, when we're children, before we can speak. We're like, our language is movement, yeah? And so we should never lose touch of that precious language, our body. It's amazing. I think dance is one of the strongest art forms. The only problem with dance is, it's not actually a problem of dance, it's just that it does not have the same funding and structure as maybe some of the other art forms. I think it can deal with a lot of political and environmental issues in a really strong way.
Why do you think dance is underappreciated?
Obviously, dance doesn't have the foundation or the historical foundation like, let's say, opera has. Dance, especially if you talk about dance in theater situations and in a theater structure like in Germany, dance was primarily in the beginning there to serve the opera and the operettas. And then dance started to get a momentum of its own and proved that we can actually, we're a singular art form that can stand very strong. And I think there's still just that little, that it might be still regarded as something there to serve. So it's about, I guess, who's in charge. And luckily there are some great, if we talk about the house structures, there are some very wise, I would say, intendants out there who realize the power of dance and are giving it the place it needs. But it's still fragile because I think we need to get dance people into higher positions. But we do need dance people in those positions and in political positions, which are serving that, like dealing out the money for the arts. I mean, there is progress, let's be positive, but I'd love to see it more. So I just want to say thank you for kind of like bringing me back to some things that are very important to me, like, why is dance important? Or, what are things that trouble you or make you excited? So it kind of brings you back to, this is why I do what I do, because I love it. And honestly, I really can't do anything else. But I think one of the most wonderful things about what we do and as a creator is that we get to work with people, like in motion. It's such a fragile, intimate, beautiful thing to be able to create something together with another artist and just see them make it blossom right in front of your eyes.
Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check our other episodes from Artist Talk series on this playlist right here. We thank you. Until next time.